Rashad, thank you very much for joining VOA today.
Thank you for having me.
I want to now talk about religious violence and persecution happening recently in Indonesia towards the Ahmadi communities and also the Christian community. Now, the United States, the State Department, and also the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom have expressed their concern and have also expressed support for President Yudhoyono's effort to protect the rights of all religious groups. But what is the White House doing beyond that to support that Indonesia remains a tolerant and pluralistic society?
There is a very serious problem with the treatment of religious minorities in some Muslim-majority countries. We've seen church burnings in Egypt and Indonesia. We've seen unacceptable violence in Iraq. We've seen unacceptable violence in Nigeria, and all of that is unacceptable, and we've stated as much. Issues such as the resolution on the defamation of religions have been clear that those types of laws cannot be used to call minority speech defamatory. Anything in those resolutions which can be used to violate the rights of the Ahmadi communities or Ismaili communities is unacceptable. Oftentimes we talk about targeting of Muslims, restrictions on hijab, for example, hate crimes against Muslims, that we're very aggressive addressing those, but at the same time we're talking about the treatment of non-Muslim minorities in Muslim-majority countries as well.
Which one would you say is a bigger problem? You know, treatment of Muslims as minorities in countries like France, for example, that ban the hijab, or in countries like Indonesia, where non-Muslim are the minorities and their church are being burned?
Well, I think we have to look at all these issues together, but certainly when there's loss of life and there's physical violence, I think that those issues give me particular concern.
So do you personally follow these incidents in different Muslim countries? For example, have you seen the videos of the attacks against the Ahmadis?
I've seen, not just against Ahmadis, but against, many different communities, Ismailis I mentioned, other religious minorities, and I've been following incidents of hatred against Muslims.
There's some that would encourage the Indonesian government to treat religious violence and religious extremism the way it treats or fights terrorism. Would the White House support this approach?
We don't want to create an equivalence between, religion and terrorism. Now, insofar as religious communities are being targeted using terrorist tactics, then there is, overlap there. Certainly, all violence is unacceptable. All mistreatment of religious minorities is unacceptable, and where those two intersect, it's particularly alarming.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Demikian tadi bincang-bincang kita dengan Rashad Hussein, Utusan Khusus Gedung Putih untuk negara-negara Organisasi Konferensi Islam. Saya Patsy Widakuswara dan tim VOA di Washington mengucapkan terima kasih dan sampai jumpa lain waktu.